Hi, this is Trish Kendall, your host for the Choose and Become interview series. In a few seconds, we are going to launch right into today's episode with my guest, Heather Campbell. But for right now, Heather, just say hi so everyone can hear you and see you.
Hello, everyone.
So, super quick, Heather and I met because we have a mutual friend. So Liz Webler, who is a mutual friend, and she is my former colleague at Hewitt Associates, and she's the founder of Vital Tales. She introduced us, and I'm going to save the introduction here for a little bit because she was so thoughtful in her introduction. She sent me your book. So put a pause in that for a second, and we will get back to it. For those of you that are new to this podcast series, let me just take a step back before we move forward. So I made 5 critical choices on my journey from the pit of despair to the peak of success, enduring success that is full and lasting and complete. And I'm so grateful that this series allows me to interview people whom I admire so I can get their perspective and lessons and wisdom on their journeys to enduring success. So I use this 5-choice framework to get more voices, more stories, different people to share with us what enduring success means and how they've created it. So with that, okay, now I'm going to pick back up. So Liz sends me an email, and we stay in touch, but we don't stay in touch, like every day. She sends me an email. She says, send me your mailing address. I have something to send you. So nobody sends things in the mail anymore. So it's always special when you know you're going to get something in the mail. And what Liz sent me was Heather's book, Good is Amazing. So, and she didn't just send me the book. She wrote this sweet personal note and connected your theory and your work and everything with what I do with groups and audiences and individuals. So it was so thoughtful. So thank you, Liz.
Yes.
With that, Heather, will you just share a little bit about yourself for my audience, for people who have not met you yet?
I already have like 5 different asides, just like you, like pinned and back and forth. I actually think I have the exact same note card on my wall. I recognize the note card.
Yeah, that's her
I have
Vital
it on my
Tales.
Wall.
Yes, right. And I keep it as my bookmark.
Well, and to your comment on no one sends mail anymore. One of the things in my book that I talk about is when I talk about finding joy, 3 things that can make you happy. One of the things that makes me happy is this kind of connection.
Yeah.
Every Friday, I send a letter to someone. I have a list of names on my door over here that I've made. It's not happy birthday, not congratulations, not I'm sorry about something, just hi, thought about you. It makes me happy writing the card. It makes me happy,
awesome.
just like you said, thinking about someone's going to open this and they're going to be like, it's not my birthday.
Yes.
This isn't a bill, I hope. Why is Trish sending me a bill? But
I love that.
It's just, and almost every time I either get a text, an email, but often I get a card back.
I know. Isn't that, oh my gosh, Heather, this is like the reciprocal nature of, right? You say joy, I say love, right? Both like some joy and love. It's such an example of the verb giving. And then it becomes this reciprocal thing that they send a note back. I think that's great.
And it's not for that reason at all. Again, another aside thinking down this line, my oldest is now in college. When they were applying to get into college, they got a letter from a school, and I, being a silly mom, said, oh my God, it's an acceptance letter. And my kids said, oh my God, I haven't actually applied anywhere. You're not me. So they open the letter and they read it. And as they read it, they're like, huh, I didn't know about this this about this school. Huh. And there were a number of things that piqued their curiosity and they were excited about. And I said, so what am I going to tell you to do next? And they said, you're going to tell me to write a thank you letter so that it helps me get into college. And I said, no, I'm going to tell you to write a thank you letter because it's kind. Because this person, and let's be honest, it's not them, it's someone on their staff. But anyway,
Yeah. Still.
someone wrote a letter and it made you excited and interested. And it's kind to
Yeah.
send a thank you letter. Now, it's also smart because
Yep.
maybe it will be helpful, but you don't do it for that reason. Like when you're talking about the reciprocal nature, I don't
Yes.
write the card to manipulate someone to write me a card back. I
Right.
write the card because it gives me joy. And I hope
Okay.
it gives
Go
them.
on. Yes, because it gives you joy. I totally interrupted you. And you've raised Shane, right? Shane's your oldest,
Yes.
such that they know your intent in teaching this and modeling this is
Yes.
from a place of kindness and joy.
Correct.
Okay, one more thing on that.
I never even introduced myself.
I know.
dove
Okay,
right in.
stop. I'm stopping. Okay. I'm stopping. You go introduce yourself and then we'll pick it up.
Okay. So I've had a lot of interesting, weird titles in my life. I've been in charge of Synergy at ESPN. I was literally Synergist was my title on my business card. I've been in charge of Alchemy at another media company. I have my MBA from NYU Stern, which when I told people who knew me I was going to go to business school, they were like, what? Why are you going to business school? I'm the CEO of Ready, Set, Recover. It is a platform that helps people get ready for and recover from surgery in a better way by looking at the emotional, behavioral, and logistics side of surgery, things that unfortunately our medical teams are too focused on the medicine, which they need to be, to be paying too much attention to. And I'm an author. I wrote the book that Liz so kindly and wonderfully sent to you. Good is amazing. So I've done all these weird things, and there's like when you look for the line, like, oh, okay, you went to business school and then you didn't get a job on purpose. Huh, okay, and then the job you got was in charge of Synergy. Like what? I believe in people. My purpose in being is to make people feel seen, heard, and celebrated. And the jobs I've done, the company I've created, the book that I've written, it's all about how do you, a person that's important, get to figure out what's important to you and then do it. And how do you get to play within systems in a way that's consistent with who you are? Because when we empower people to be consistent to who they are and again to the good side of who they are, what happens is magical.
You are magical. I'm probably going to put this as a parking lot for later because I'm so curious. I'm sure everybody is curious that ESPN had a role called Synergy.
Yes.
So, all right, let's park that. Okay. If we can come back to it, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. Now, one of the things that I think is really interesting, what I read in your book is you were at a pretty young age. So in college, I think you were a freshman. Sophomore, it was a sophomore, when you realized your purpose and your North Star, where I think a lot of people figure that out later,
right?
Through work and through this, but you realized it and embraced it really early on. So let's get into, because I think this ties together. Everybody has their own definition of success. When it comes to creating enduring success, what does that mean to you? And how did you realize it? And tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So in general, like big picture, what does enduring success mean? Again, I go back to what we were just talking about a little bit. Who are you? Like, Who are you? What speaks to you? What gives you joy? What makes you feel good? What makes you shine? So in a general sense, in a general practice, I believe that to get enduring success, you have to figure that out and then do those things. That is how you create enduring success. And a big part of that is, again, you have to decide not only how you do it, but what enduring success is
For you.
for you.
Mhm.
So, you bring up the story.
Yeah.
The story is, I'm in my dorm and my mother calls, upset about something, starts blubber, is really upset. And to fix it, to make things better, my mom asks me to become president of the United States. Just become president. And she's
And
not.
wait, and Heather, how did she say it? She's like, when are you going to become president of the
Yes,
United
yes,
States?
Heather. I'm sure I got the Heather Ann. I'm sure the middle name was included because she was
Yes,
serious.
right.
Ann, no E. Heather Ann, you've got to become, promise me,
Hmm.
not just will you, but promise me you will become president of the United States.
Yeah.
When I said no, she compromised to senator. Would I become senator?
Mm-hmm.
But I had this moment as she was, saying these ridiculous things to me about, oh gosh, no way. Nope, that's And then I was kind of curious. So if I don't want that, what do I want? Hmm. And I just started letting that go and letting that feel. And again, I literally can picture myself and in the dorm room looking out, around the quad, people playing frisbee, hanging out, and thinking, I want to be happy and healthy. That's that's what I want. And later in the conversation, um, again, she was not letting up. She
Mm-hmm.
wanted a yes. I talked to her about how what she's asking for, I know what she's asking for. She's asking for me to play a part in making the world a better place. And I do. I do that every day. At the time, I talked about my cousins, being a part in their young lives, being a part of their foundation. And I have this memory of being somewhere with my cousins. All, we're in a bunch of us are there, lots of people, lots of strangers. And one of my cousins has his back to me, and I start rubbing his back. And he just leans into it.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look around. He totally understands that someone literally has his back and he is happy and comfortable and safe and secure, and he's just going to lean into it. That's saving the world.
And you knew that and embraced it wholeheartedly at what I think is a young age. And that's one of the things that really strikes me with your story and your mission.
Right. Well, I will say yes.
Yeah.
And part of the reasons I tell the story, part of the reasons I have a copy of my book here too, not just so I can pull it up
Yep.
on Zoom calls, but because
So you can take action.
so I can take action.
Yeah.
The stories are not just of a young, however you are when you're a sophomore, but it's of me at 47 having to remember some of these things and learn some of these
Exactly.
things. It's
Exactly.
it's not linear and it's not done.
It's not one time.
No.
That is that is one of the things uh when I'm working with people or whatever, it doesn't matter. Audience is big, small, one person. My anchor message, my enduring success is choosing to give all my love and to receive all the love that others want to give. And don't and what I really stress is I made that choice. I embraced that late in life, and it's an ongoing choice, like
Yes.
every day in every interaction. And to your point, there's times where I don't. And then I have to reset and recalibrate and use the tools, whatever that we've used.
Yep.
So I really appreciate you saying that, because even though that is your enduring success and that is your purpose and you want to be happy and healthy, we can still lose track of that. But we got to be able to anchor and ground ourselves. So now I ended up, across my journey, a long time, so over 25 years, made 5 critical choices, which is what I said at the beginning. And the way that my story lays out, those choices are linear and sequential. I wasn't ready for one until I wasn't ready for the other until I did the one. And the way that I run this interview with you is linear, but these choices are not linear. They are not sequential. They are not one time. It is ongoing. It's ongoing. The first critical choice I made was to pick up the phone when my sister called, which is a story in and of itself, which my followers know that story. To me, that was making a first choice. Mm-hmm. And success and growth, development begins with making a first choice. Mm-hmm. Is there a first choice that you made that you will share with us that really helped support your journey to where you are today?
Ooh, that's a good question.
One of the first choices. Yes. Now, I would say your conversation with your mom saying, no, I'm not, this is what I'm going to do, is a first choice. But if there is another one also that you can share with us.
I would absolutely agree. I mean, that moment with my mom. But I also think of life in different stages. So when another big moment was deciding, and again, we'll put a pin on the Synergy ESPN.
Yeah.
But it was a big job. And it was a wonderful job. And it was an amazing job and an incredible job. And was so right for so long. And then it wasn't. And then I had a kid. And then I wasn't sure. And I decided to leave what most people would say is an it. Like it was a thing. Like, why would you, and I was.
Yeah, what was it? So tell me a little bit about because I am so curious.
Yes. So to your point, this job of Synergy, I graduated NYU. I call similar to this. Someone introduced me to Leanne Daly. Leanne Daly is one of the most wonderful, incredible people in the universe. She was at ESPN at the time, and I was calling her to get a drink. I hadn't seen her in a while. And she said, "Oh my God, what are you doing? I have a job and you're perfect for it." And I said, "Awesome. What's the job?" And she said, "Yeah, I don't really know." And I said, "Cool." And she said, "Oh yeah. And everyone here will hate you. And it doesn't pay enough money." She's in marketing, by the way. Leanne is in charge of marketing. So I, of course, took it. The Walt Disney Company owns ESPN and a bazillion other entities. And at the time, Michael Eisner was the CEO, and he had this idea of synergy. Synergy being using all of the different pieces to make 1 + 1 = 3. We're going to build upon each other and use each other, and which is a great idea, except at the time, it pretty much meant ESPN being called by various areas of the Walt Disney Company and being told, "You're going to do this," and ESPN then doing it. So I came in and I changed the conversation. I looked at this as, how do we play together? How do we try to find mutually beneficial moments that we can do things together? And or sometimes it's no harm, no foul. You're just going to do something and it's fine because, it's for the betterment of the company. And other times it might be you're going to take one for the team. That could happen. But let's be transparent. Let's be open. I joke that I spoke many different spoke many different languages. I could speak ESPN. We had fans, total fans, and we were their fans. ABC had viewers. The parks have VIP guests. So, can you hear something from one entity, interpret it, figure out how to play with it? I joke that my bar on is it a good idea to do? Is it good synergy? Would it make my fans want to throw up?
Oh.
That was my bar. So I loved my job. I got to basically play. I'm surrounded by things in my office. I have a hockey stick signed by the 80s hockey team.
Wow.
I'm working on the Miracle movie. Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
First off, that is family favorite movie.
Oh
I
my
watch
God.
it all the time. My son Sammy and I watch it all the time. I literally, anytime I want to feel good, I put the movie on.
Yes. So I got to see a screening of the movie before it came out because I wanted to make sure that what we were going to be promoting was good. So I'm watching the movie. I am on the edge of my seat. And at one point, I stop and I look and I'm like, I know what happens. I was alive at the time. I watched, it was tape delay, which we
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I lived this already and still I'm on the edge of my seat. So, yes, I was actually just on a plane recently and they had it on the plane.
Yeah.
And I just fast forwarded to the end.
Of course, like me too. If I'm in the mood and
Yep,
have the time, I watch
yep,
the whole thing.
yep,
If I
yep,
just want to watch
yep,
the last 23
yep,
minutes, I
yep,
go to the last
yep.
23 minutes, the whole thing.
And
Yeah.
or I might also stop on the scene where they're running suicide. They're
Oh,
doing suicides on the ice, and he
yes.
says, "Micah Ruzioni, I play for the United States of America." Love that moment.
And then that's all, boys.
That's all.
I love it. Okay,
So I have this
you
job.
like but you chose to leave.
Yes.
That's one of
Yes.
the big bold choices.
This was one of the critical moments. So
Yep.
the job changed. Things changed. I changed. And I realized I didn't want to be there anymore. And how
Mm,
do you say no? Like it's unfathomable to say no. It's ESPN. I'm a VP
right.
at ESPN in charge of amazing brands. At this point, they had moved me off of Synergy.
Okay.
But I'm still in charge of advertising for ESPN2, ESPN News, Classic, the magazine, ESPN.com, an event that I had created, ESPN The Weekend. Like I've got a
Wow.
job. Like I've got a job you don't say no to, that the
Yeah.
world does not say no to. But it wasn't a job I wanted to do. And no one had asked me if it was a job I wanted to do. And what I truly, truly love doing within jobs is setting people up to succeed. And based on some changes that had happened, I didn't think I could do that in the way that I wanted to do it. But how do you say no to this? And it was interesting too, because when I did say no, I did have a very candid conversation about if you say I'm doing this to stay at home with my family, I will sue you.
Yeah.
Like that's not what's going on here. Um, and then it ended up again back to some of the big, big decisions, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I looked at why did I love my job so much, and a big portion of it was because, again, back to setting people up to succeed and managing people. And I thought, I have the best potential managing people and setting people up to succeed job in the whole world right now. A mom. Can I stay with that job for a little while and have that be my sole and primary job? But that was a lot of soul searching and a lot of can I take care of myself financially, emotionally? And I had a wonderful partner, my husband, so not by
Mhm.
myself, but
Mhm. Mhm.
as again, back to for that enduring success, do I know who I am? Can I be who I am in this new decision?
Wow. That's awesome. And And you embraced that decision, and you did realize you can be.
Yes.
Could that be your job?
Yes.
With Shane and Tatum?
Yes.
Tatum?
Yeah.
Yes. That's wonderful. And how old is Tatum now?
Tatum is 16.
Okay. And Shane is at the University of Oregon.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I like to keep that in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move us to the second critical choice.
Yes.
Now, the second critical choice for me, and what I think is essential in creating enduring success, is committing to agreements with one another. I call it two-way agreements. For me, when I was 20, my sister and her husband took me into their home when I was recovering from drug addiction. And it was very immediate, and it was very hardcore, and it was pretty scary. And they had two young children, my 5-year-old niece and my 3-year-old nephew, who are now grown and parents and all that stuff. So going to live with my sister and her husband wasn't an easy decision for them, and it needed to be conditional. And so we entered into what I call a two-way agreement. There were things that I needed to agree to in order to be there. And there were things that my sister and David agreed to do or not to do while I was there. So it was a shared purpose with clear expectations, clear consequences, and we both committed to that agreement.
Yeah.
For me, committing to the agreement, to the expectations, really transformed my attitude from, I have to do these things. Like, I have to. But the consistency of doing those things helped me experience joy and desire around doing those things. So, for example, eating family meals with my sister and the kids 3 times a day. That was a part of the agreement. Mm-hmm. And I tell you all of that because I really want your perspective on, I think we enter into two-way agreements all the time. Mm-hmm. Spouses, children, colleagues, peers, patients, whatever it is. I often find that they're not really constructed very well. They're not very clear. And then we can't commit to them. Yeah. Let's put the bad aside for a second. Okay. Are there agreements that you have or do enter into in your life, and what makes them strong? Yeah. What makes those agreements committable, if that makes sense?
Sure. Again, in the book, one of the things I write a little bit about this. I have 2 rules for my children. I started with many rules. Mm-hmm. You have to have a tasting bite of everything on your plate. You have to, lots and lots of rules.
Yeah.
The tasting bite went horribly wrong. So the 2 rules in my family are, number 1, no one hurts my child, especially the other child. Hmm. Number 2, no permanent tattoos above the collarbone.
That's pretty simple.
Those are it. Those are the only rules. Now, the first one has been broken, mm-hmm. But it's a rule. Everything else is up for negotiation and discussion. Everything else is how we normally do things. Well, the plan is, or the belief is, because then we can have conversations around it. That is very important for me. The other thing, what this has made me think a lot about, is my belief that as an adult, I need to be responsible. And in order to do that, I have to put a roof over my head. I have to put food in my belly. Because I live in the United States, I have to have health insurance. Mm-hmm. Financially, a little bit more. So those are the things financially I need to do. And back to the agreement, though, do I set those up so that I can live in agreement with myself? So there was a time years ago living in New York City. My husband and I, we were living in a 1-bedroom, which is really an alcove studio with a wall. Shane was in the walk-in closet, in the pull-out crib. We decided, we're 2 40-year-old people. we should be buying an apartment. Like, isn't that what you do? Like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? You buy an apartment.
Mhm.
And so we start looking for apartments in New York City, and the price keeps creeping up that we're looking at. And at one point, Steve and I are just like this at each other. And I literally stop him and I spin him around. Shane's in the crib. I am, to hear pregnant with Tatum. And I say, all they need are happy, healthy parents. That's all they need. We are not happy, healthy as we are looking at this possibility of buying an apartment. We are now way over $1 million looking again for
It's in New York. Right.
New York. And I look at him and I say, okay, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If I ever spend over $1 million on anything, I should be like this. It's the best. It's amazing. It's great.
Oh, it's so true.
We're going to spend over $1 million. And I'm going to say this. It's good. It's fine. It's okay. It's got, light if you kind of look for it. There's a bathroom that's not in a bedroom. Like, that's not okay. We're not buying an
So
apartment.
good.
We're going to rent. So are you making decisions that keep you in alignment with the responsibilities of your life in a way that you can live your life the way you want to?
Yes. Yes. And it's a constant, it goes back to what we were talking about, recalibrating, resetting. What's the macro agreement
Right.
to be happy and healthy parents for
Right.
our children? We've got a macro agreement. And then at different times in our lives, we are coming into agreement with one another in this moment. And what does that look like? And it needs to stay true to the macro covenant, if you will, or
Yes.
agreement with one another.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a just powerful conversation. And then even the seemingly small example of Shane and Tatum with your rules, and then everything is up for negotiation. When things were up, or probably still are up for negotiation, Tatum's 16, and even though Shane's in college, there's still stuff going on there. How did you help? I think one of the key elements of being able to commit to an agreement is creating clarity on what the expectation, being super clear about what I want, and you being super clear, right? Because ambiguity just kills everything. How did you get really clear and help them learn to be clear?
There has been something so beautiful about this. I've only got 2 rules. Like, my kids can do my whole shtick on, she only has 2 rules. Number 1, no one hurts her kids, especially her kids. And number 2, no dip. And Shane now has a tattoo, but it's not above the collarbone. There's been something about having that allows for the conversation.
Yeah.
That's the beauty there. It's the, okay, so this isn't really that rule, but how will this affect?
That's great.
Again, I think about small moments with my kids. They really wanted an allowance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally decided, sure, I'll give you an allowance. That'll be a good way for you to learn money. I first gave them $3 a month. It's now grown to 10. I give my children a $10 a month allowance, was 3. When we first decided to have this and do this, I said, you know what? I love the idea of you having your own money and thinking about how you're going to spend it. Great. And then one of them said, okay, so what do we have to do for it? What are the chores? And they started listing things. And I said, yes, those are all chores you have to do because you're a part of our family, and I'm not paying you to be a part of our family. I'm giving you an allowance to allow you to understand the value of money and to spend your own money. You will still do things because you're part of the family. But again, having the conversation, setting, to your point, setting the expectations, creating clarity around this.
Ah, love that example. And we're just going to package this little example up because the specific clarity around why they were receiving the allowance, that is separate from what we do as a part of the family and our responsibilities of the family. And the two are not the same. Thank you for giving me that. Both of those examples I could just package up. The third critical choice I made on my journey was to build trust. Now, for me, that first meant I had to build trust in myself. And then that ultimately carried over to inspiring the trust of others. You know, at least, I mean, and my story is so, it is what it is, but like I had to chunk things down to such small elements in my day to build trust in myself. You know, will I show up on time? You know, will I clear the table after dinner? You know, like really small things, but in those small things, I built trust in myself. How on your journey have you built trust in yourself? Like, is it tangible? Do you reflect on it?
I do reflect on it. I've wondered sometimes in terms of, like, my sister likes to joke that I am chemically imbalanced. I'm just chemically imbalanced towards happy and solid. I have, you know, again, I'm a big believer. Number one, you know nothing about anyone.
Right.
Like, we know nothing. You know, there are things in my life that were really bad, really hard, like beautiful examples of trauma. Like, I've got some classicals. For whatever reason, I believe it happened early on in my childhood, I was supported and given positive reinforcement for the showing ups, for the being theirs. And it made me see myself as a person who does that.
Good. That's so powerful.
I'm luck, and that's lucky. And even still, within it, talking about that trust, it's hard. Like, I've got major abandonment issues. You know, I've got major people are not going to show up for me issues. There are some silences in my life that are deafening. I choose, though, 99.999% of the time, back to I don't know anything about your life. Someone just recently said, "Oh my gosh, you sent me one of those wonderful emails." I'm constantly emailing people with offers. "Oh, do you know about this? Oh, do you know about this?" I was in the post office 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and there was some silence that obviously needed to be filled. So I said to the people just standing there minding their own business, "Oh, in case you like pizza, Berkshire Mountain Bakery is doing a dine to donate today to support people who will be affected by SNAP. So if you like pizza and you're hungry, it would be a great day to go to Berkshire Mountain." So I'm constantly offering, like, just offer. No judgment, just offer.
Yeah.
So I see a friend and she says, "Oh my God, you sent me one of those wonderful emails and I didn't respond." And they're like, "I'm a terrible person. I'm so sorry I didn't respond." And I said, "I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to tell you, and this is not a lie, I choose to believe that when you get my email, you do this." Oh, oh, yes, that's so cool. And then if you don't respond, something like this happened. "Oh, attention has to go over here. Attention has to go over here." It's not about me. I believe you love me. I believe you like me. I believe sometimes I might annoy. I just actually, literally minutes before this, sent a note to people about the kindness campfire which is a new thing I just did. It's a monthly call. Dr. Kelly Harding puts them together. It was amazing. I sent the email to, I'm going to guess, between 50 and 100 people saying, I think either this will resonate with you or this will make you happy just knowing it exists, or it will totally make you laugh that I did something like this again. But I send it out and I choose as much as I can to fill the silence that I often get. I do not get more than 10% response on any of the things that I send out, which is good based on direct mail and, marketing. I'm going to fill the silence with positivity. I believe you saw it and you responded. And I get enough, again, back to Liz's note is on my, it
Yeah.
happens.
And it's a choice you are choosing, which I am huge into free agency, and we get to choose. We get to choose what we make up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we get to choose exactly what you just said. You get to choose to believe that the reaction is more likely Heather, oh my gosh, I didn't know about Kindness Campfire. That's so cool.
Right.
Oh, hold on. I got to put fire on my own woods. I mean, I got to put wood on my own fire.
Yeah.
But you choose to believe what the reaction is, and more likely it is that reaction, and then that fills you up and maybe motivates you to keep going.
Yeah.
We get to choose, like Dr. Carolyn Leaf. I don't know a ton about neuroplasticity, but I'm very intrigued with it, and I do want to learn more. And, she's always saying what you just said, which is nobody makes us feel a certain way. We get to choose if we're hopeful. We get to choose and so you, like your sister says, have had a chemical imbalance your whole life and you over index on the happy and joyful. Right. And sister, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I will take it because now I over index on love.
Yes.
Because I get to, and I get to choose to give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
That's what I say to my kids, BOTD, which I didn't make up. That was from Liz and I, growing up at Hewitt Associates, benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So your connection is going to take your thoughtful, deliberate offers to people is going to take me to my fourth choice, I think. And the fourth critical choice was to deliberately create community. Deliberately create community. You know what I mean? Because it's reciprocal and you got to create it. And I think community is so important. So the right communities, right? Like I have some people say, well, I don't want to be a part of that community. Right. Okay, totally. Then get out.
Right.
I mean the communities that support us and we support our communities. Tell me more about your communities, communities that have been a part of your journey.
Yes. After your foundational needs are covered, and that's critical. Like you need, you need to have your foundational needs covered.
Yeah.
Community and purpose is what creates joy. I left New York City 5 years ago. I go back every 2 to 3 months. If I don't run into someone within 10 minutes of being there, I'm what's going wrong? Wow. Like why? The importance of, again, people seen, heard, and celebrated. That's what it's all about. How do you do this? How do you make it happen? Recently, so I'm at the high school. I'm on a school council, which I think there's an actual purpose to it, but we basically just kind of raise our hands and try to think about stuff. So another mom brought up during the summer, we should create a moment of joy at the beginning of the school year. And I say, yes, we should have you too come and play. And I look at everyone, and the principal and the assistant principal say, we don't play an instrument. Like what? I said, no, not you two, the band. And everyone looks at me and do you know you too? No, I don't. Does anyone here know
Do you
you
know?
too?
Right.
And they're like, no, we don't. I'm like, okay, so maybe you two won't be available this time. By the way, I'm saying this story because I am going to get you two to come to this school at some point. They're going to hear this on your podcast and be like, you know what? I do want to go. Um, but anyway, we keep talking, we keep communicating. And what it ended up being was first day of school, we have decorations at every entrance. Music is piping through the school. Teachers are standing outside their doors. Administrators are standing outside the doors saying, hi, welcome. We're glad you're here. How was summer? Not put away your phone, not you're late, not hi, welcome. There's food in the caf, and if you can then go to the gym, please. In the gym, we've got 4 tables full of stuff. We've gone to community members throughout the area saying, we're going to be creating a moment of joy and we want to let you in. That's the first thing when creating community. I want to invite you in. I'm having a conversation later today with someone who wants to talk about networking. And they're saying that I feel bad. Like I'm just asking for something. Like, you're not if you're offering. You're not if you're inviting. Don't look at networking as making an ask. It's about an offer. Hi, I'm pretty interesting. I think you're interesting too. Could we talk? Could I learn from you? Is there anything I can share with you from me? This is so much fun. Thank you. So, moment of joy, they come in. We've gone to community members. We've said we want to make this mutually beneficial. We know you get hit up all the time for stuff. Is there anything you have that's got your name on it that would help you to have cool teenagers wearing around?
Yeah.
Is there anything on your shelf that you just want gone? Like it's not selling, it's not moving, and a teenager would like it. Is there any way that you would possibly normally donate to something like this, a $25 gift card? Instead, could you donate $5 gift cards? And then kids will be happy because they'll have won something and maybe they'll come in and spend more money. Win-win. I understand the language. I can speak their language, just like with Synergy and at ESPN. I speak your language. You are a business owner who is hit up constantly, and I bet you'd really like to be a part of a moment of joy. Like I bet you would. I think that. I believe that. That's where I'm going to start my assumption. Almost everyone said yes. The people who said no were part of larger corporations and said you'd have to go to corporate. And I said, thank you. Totally get it. We had kids just happy, surprised. A friend of mine's a teacher at the school, and the first day she always has the students write a form that says your name, your preferred pronouns, and this year she added, did you win a prize? The kids were like, oh my God, I want a sweatshirt. Like, look at this. I want a gift card. Just joy. Like, that is the kind of community I want to invite. I want to invite people to have an opportunity of joy.
You model it, you invite, you offer, and you reciprocate.
Thank you.
That's what you've created. This very beautifully takes me to the 5th critical choice, which honestly, we could just spend our whole time talking about this one because everything that you've brought up and mentioned, I put in this category, the most important choice of mine, which is to embrace boundless love.
Oh, yeah.
And what I don't mean is love the emotion, which isn't a choice, right? We can feel love for someone and still choose to withhold love the verb. Or we might not feel love for someone yet and choose to give love the verb. And I think about the story that you were just saying about the school and the moment of joy and talking to all the community members. And that is a manifestation of giving love. You don't feel love yet, or maybe you do, actually. I shouldn't even say that because you probably do feel love for everyone right off the bat. You have this way about you that is just full of boundless love. So what I am talking about is love, the action, the verb. And people will say, Well, Trish, what does that mean? Well, it manifests different for different people at different times, at work, at home, in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what it means. You know when you're doing it,
Yep.
and you know when you're withholding. What are some examples? What are some more examples of giving love around you, either what you do or what you have observed others
Yeah.
in giving love?
Yeah. It's funny, the language you used, I often joke, it's not yellow face emoji happy. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about
Mm-mm.
yellow faced emoji happy.
So good.
I'm talking about, again, my foundational needs, seen, heard, and celebrated. Um, that's what I want. That's what I'm going for. And
Yeah.
again, we can't help but measure ourselves. Like,
Mhm.
we can't help it. Um, what are you measuring yourself against? Like, do you know the real? Like, so I loved your language, and I thought I would
Yeah.
share mine. Oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by examples constantly. My 16-year-old, we were just talking about the issues of food insecurity. I've just, again, um, doing things that then build off. It's like a snowball, rolling down the hill,
Right.
making a snowman. Um, there's a wonderful place here called the Food Pantry in Great Barrington. The goal is to provide food, no questions asked, to people who need it, in a dignified manner. They come shopping at our food pantry. It is beautiful. It is mostly local produce and items. It is a beautiful, beautiful community. I tried to volunteer there for a year and a half and couldn't
Wow.
get in because there was no time. Like, people were there. I had now started volunteering. That's led to being on the board. My Tatum has heard me talking about it. And again, part of this is throwing out there. Um, Kind of a side story on this
Yeah.
as well. When people say the universe is listening, the universe is providing, the universe is, I love energy. I'm a big energy person. We could talk about that as well. But I think we spell universe wrong. It's universe. It's you. It's, what are you putting out there? When opportunities come to me, it's not because I was sitting here, universe, universe. It's because I share with people, and I tell them what I like, what I want, what I love, what's exciting me. And then people are like, "Oh, Heather, I've heard you say that you love, this excites you. Do you want to know about this?" So right now, the food pantry is something that
Yeah.
excites me and is important to me. And I talk about it so much so that my 16-year-old, who is a great kid, who, does stuff on her own, who volunteers at her school, blah, 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 said to me just yesterday or the other day, "Could I volunteer at the People's Pantry? Is there something I could be doing there, Mom?" Like, snap, and so it's those offers. It's people being able to see that there are opportunities and that positivity comes from it. One of the people who were not able to donate, and this was just for the moment of joy, just a
Yeah.
timing thing,
Yeah.
came back to me. "Are you going to do it again? Could we do it? Could we do it if you do it again? Could I don't I'm a small business owner. Could I please get in on the moment of joy?" Yes, you can. I would love to include you in that. Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Um, and then within it, though, again, we talked in the very beginning, it's to encourage and to feed. So as we looked at this, we talked to the principal about, we need thank you notes written to everyone. Like, that feeds this. And
Yes.
again, back to the Shane conversation of, because you want them, no, because it's kind. Kindness begets more kind actions. Love creates more love. Like when you welcome people in, it makes a huge difference.
One of the things I don't often get to spend time with someone that I feel like we could go to this level. And I wish there were more opportunities for it. So this is just a good reminder for me in spreading my purpose more is this giving love, giving all our love in one moment with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a difference. I'm going to give and I'm going to give all.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard and there's a lot of barriers of why we don't. But encapsulate you encapsulate the choice of embracing boundless love. You have it. It like literally seeps through you. I am so grateful for Liz for connecting us. I'm so grateful for you writing your words.
Thank you.
And your book, by the way, with Good is Amazing, it's super easy to read.
Yeah.
Great stories, funny stories, action items. We didn't even get into Blanche. So don't ask me what that is. You're going to have to connect with Heather Campbell or me, but we didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
And so you've given your boundless love, your joy, you're happy and healthy, and have given us a little bit of that in this gift of a book.
Thank you.
I believe with my whole heart, Heather, my whole heart, that when we choose, and we get to choose, when we choose to show up with one another, and we choose to give all the love that we have, because love begets love. So giving it does not take it away. Correct. And we choose to receive the love that others want to give.
Yeah.
That's when we create true enduring success, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us.
Can I add to that?
Please.
I think one of the things that might be hard for some people in hearing that is when they hear giving all, it sounds as if it's gone and you are now depleted. So number one, what you just said about receiving, like that's how you get filled back up. And also within all of this, I constantly am saying foundational needs. I do this because I also come from I go to bed, hopefully by 10:15, 10:30 every night. I wake up early. I wake up early so that I can have time by myself and I can meditate and I can drink my water and I can think about my day. And I have a roof over my head and I have good food that I try to feed myself with. And I work, we talked, I did raking today to move my body. I do a dance class that makes me feel silly. Within giving as much as I want to give, which you are right, it's all. What Tatum, during COVID, there was a lottery that was like $200 bajillion. And Tatum said, Mama, okay, if we win the lottery, what do we do? And before I can open my mouth, she says, you can't give it all away. And I'm like, can I give a lot of it away? She's like, yes, you can give. Can I give? She's like, don't. Okay, other than the part you're going to not give, like for what you're not going to give, what would you do? But she knows I would give. But to her point, I'm not going to give it all away. She is right.
You got to love yourself.
You do.
All the things that you just laid out after foundational needs are met is about creating strength, clarity, the ability to give has to start within ourselves. It has to. And then within our families. And then they model and they can keep giving. And love begets love. And joy begets joy.
Yes.
And we have the power to be able to make it happen.
Yes.
Is there one final thing that you would share with my audience? I just want like one more little Heather Campbell nugget.
I go back to just kind of the title, Good is Amazing. It is hard to hold on to right now. It is hard when we're told, it's what school you go to, it's what job title you have, it's what house you live in, what zip code you live in. You get to decide what it actually is. I originally had thought of entitling my book Good, Period, Enough, Period. But I was afraid people were going to miss the period and think it's good enough. It's not about mediocre. It's not about less than. It's about solid good, because that's amazing.
Heather, thank you for spending the time with me, with my audience, with your community. And I can't wait to get this story and message and your wisdom out to everyone.
Thank you so much.
For all of you, thank you for being along this journey with me and Heather. Choose and become. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Choose and Become interview series. To check out more episodes, go to www.trishkendall.com/podcast, or go to any of your favorite podcast channels, including YouTube, under Trish Kendall Speaks, and you'll find this interview and more. Choose and become.